Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Before we get into it, I will say I've been working rather hard recently. I've been pushing out 5, 6, even 7 videos a day, and it's quite hard when you do it alone because you've got to do the recording, do the editing, make the thumbnails, upload the whole thing. And so it's very nice. I just want to thank you all because it's very nice, despite all the hard work I do, to see so many of you liking the videos and responding in the comment section and things. And so I'd just like to thank you all for doing that. I just want to show my appreciation for you investing your time and when you hit that subscribe button, your loyalty to the channel. And I think it's something that people often don't say enough of. But actually to thank the very good viewers who watch my channel and to say that if you haven't yet subscribed, now is a perfect time. But we'll have a look at this story now. It's in the Scottish Daily Express and it's claiming that Humza Yousaf is a weak leader. He's failing to rein in certain people. Now, the piece actually mentions 3 names, Fergus Ewing, Kate Forbes and Alistair Allen. And they all sort of rebelled against the fishing areas, the highly protected marine areas. But actually, the malaise, I think, is bigger and broader and wider. Just yesterday, you had Mary Black sort of saying that she disagreed with Humza Yousaf's policy on free school meals. That was an example. You have Neil Gray disavowing things that have been said. There's various others that have come out and disagreed and gone against party policy because they felt strongly about it. This would never, of course, happen under Nicola Sturgeon. So, you know, it goes to show that where she had authority, she had the ability to rein in the wilder aspects of the party. She could give them, I always say, that basilisk eye. Very, you know, she had just had that look, that wee glare that she'd give, like, a mother glaring at her children across a playground or something. She had that. He does not have that. She had authority, she had respect, she had power. He, Humza Yousaf, has none of these things. He is leader in name only. He stands there, he waffles in Parliament, but he cannot control the people he leads. So effectively, he's not the leader. He is just the man in the big chair. And it does spell his doom, because if he cannot garner authority within his own party, why should he have power and authority across the country? Let's look at this article and see why this man is so very weak. So, weak Humza Yousaf refuses to confirm that SNP rebels will be punished, as he claims he is not losing control of the party. He's like Comical Ali in Iraq when he was going, the US don't have any tanks in Iraq, and right behind him is all the US tanks closing up. The man is out of touch with the people he works with. He claims he's not lost control of the party. He never had control of the party. The First Minister is facing growing pressure within his own party as 3 MSPs, Fergus Ewing, Kate Forbes and Alistair Allen, all voted against the Scottish Government over highly protected marine areas. And I'm very glad Kate Forbes did. She needs to do that. She needs to show that she's not one of his vassals. She's the only one who's going to lead that party to anything other than defeat. Weak Humza Yousaf refused to say whether the SNP rebels who voted against his government would be punished amid growing pressure surrounding his leadership of the party. We've already said there is no leadership in that party. He's just the man that sits at the front and talks. He angrily rejected claims that he was losing control of the nationalists as he faced a revolt just a month into his reign as First Minister. He lost control the day he announced his cabinet. That was the day he lost control. He should have had a united cabinet. He should have brought in the people he railed against in the election. He should have had Kate Forbes in a senior role. He should have brought Ash Regan in, even in a junior role, but bring her back into government as a stepping stone. He could have brought 1 or 2 of their supporters in to show that it was a rounded cabinet, that he didn't bear grudges and that he wanted a party for all. He didn't do that. He went just with his lick spittles and bum chums and brought them in and gave them all the power and left all the others out in the cold. At that point, he split the party irrevocably. The man has got no political nous. Nicola Sturgeon kept tight control over her MSPs during her time as the SNP leader and faced very rare rebellions. As I mentioned, she would just sit there and glare at them, and they would just soon fall back into line. Nobody dared gainsay sweet darling Nicola. In fact, the gender reform legislation was the first time her leadership was called into question, as 7 backbenchers voted against her, with 2 abstaining, and of course Ash Regan famously resigning from a ministerial role. She felt that strongly about it. And much as I dislike the whole thing, and Ash Regan, and all of them really, they're all terrible people, but I will at least acknowledge, tip hat to Ash Regan for at least having the moral strength to stand behind her convictions. So I will give her that, and I do admire her for that stance, if nothing else. This came 8 years into her stint as First Minister, with Mr Yousaf facing the same scrutiny just 8 weeks since becoming First Minister. 3 MSPs voted against the government's amendment to the controversial highly protected marine areas, where the Tories had called for legislation to be scrapped and started again. And there's Ewing, and he was tearing up the plan in Parliament, saying it's a load of rubbish, it'll damage the economy, it'll damage communities beyond repair, and that it should be reversed or abandoned. And again, it's one of those policies where, strangely, I'm agreeing with an SNP MP, but only because on this particular case, the few rebels that did stand up and say no are actually right, Anyway, former Minister Fergus Ewing, former SNP leadership contender Kate Forbes, and Western Isles MSP Alistair Allen refused to follow the SNP whip and were joined by Ash Regan, Annabel Ewing, and Christine Graham, who also abstained. That's 10%. I mean, was it the top me had 63 SNP MSPs, and so 10% of them went against the party. Now that is a rebellion. When you're losing 10% of your party voting against you, that's a rebellion, and there's no way about that. Usually, parties punish politicians who refuse to vote with the government, but Mr Yousaf refused to confirm whether he would do this when asked by the Scottish Daily Express. Confronted by journalists following First Minister's questions, he was forced to ask questions about if the rebel MSPs faced any disciplinary proceedings. He says, I'm not going to talk about internal matters in the SNP, which means no. It's simple that. If they were going to be punished, he would have said, yes, well, we do this, we have to show force, we have to maintain discipline. He refused to do that, which means no. He lacks the spine, he lacks the ability, and I think he lacks the authority to do this. People know he doesn't have authority anymore. It's gone. It went on day one, as I've explained, with the cabinet. So he's basically powerless. He is a dead duck leader, and he has got nothing to do. He's got no... He can't put the stick about, put it that way. Anyway, he said the SNP do have form for not punishing their rebels. The 7 backbenchers who voted against the gender reform recognition never faced any sort of public rebuke for their actions, with Mr Ewing being one of them who's rebelled twice. And there's Ash Regan, and she, like I say, she resigned over that particular matter. Which I'm just mentioning here. Ash Regan was forced to resign from her role as Community Safety Minister due to collective responsibility, meaning members of the government are unable to register dissent through voting against their own motions. Mr Yousaf's reign as First Minister has gotten off. Well, not American. Mr Yousaf's reign as First Minister has got off to a horrendous start due to the police probe into his party's finances, exploding with the arrest of former Chief Executive Peter Murrell and former Treasurer Colin Beattie. And it just goes on about that. And then there's the Mary Black thing, saying about she disagreeing with him axing freebies like free education and free food for children at school. So there's another one who's rebelling, and yet nothing has been said against her. And add to that woe, there is now alleged a factional divide within the Nationalist Party who do not support Mr Yousaf's leadership. It's about half of them. About half the party are actually anti-Yousaf now. Miss Forbes was forced to deny at the weekend that she was leading a coup already. And of course the standard rule in politics, as I keep mentioning, is you never believe anything until it's been officially denied. Only then do you think, it's true then. The SNP's vote across Scotland is also collapsing, with the latest polls showing Labour almost neck and neck, with over 20 nationalist MSPs of risking the loss of their seat. That would be a shame. I would cry such sweet bitter tears at the loss of those seats. And ironically and fantastically, one of the seats on that list likely to go would be Humza Yousaf's. Now, wouldn't that be a shame? I cannot think in my lifetime ever where a leader of a party will have lost his seat. I don't think it's ever happened. It'd be amazing if it did, and we've got to hope that would be the ultimate defeat. That would be the final end, and it would just be delicious. Scottish Conservative Chief Whip Alexander Burnett called Humza Yousaf weak. Oh, he's weak. He's as weak as school gravy, isn't he? As he highlighted that he can't even control his own party. He can't even control his own mouth, never mind his own party. He told the Scottish Daily Express, Humza Yousaf is showing his weakness on every front. Just weeks after taking over as SNP leader, he's facing serious challenges from his own backbenchers and his party's continued meltdown and internal feuding. But he knows that the rebels have wide popular support for their opposition to the hated HPMAs, so he's dithering about asserting his authority, and it's clear he hasn't got what it takes to keep the SNP running properly, let alone serve as a credible First Minister for the country. This is a man who is being over-promoted. He's not really even fit to represent people, but at best he's a backbencher. He is a lazy, stupid backbencher, at best. He should never be given any kind of authority. Every time he's been given authority, he has failed. He's now made it to the big seat, and he's failing there. And he's not just failing his own party, he's failing Scotland. He is, and someone described this in one of the comments on a previous video, he's a post-turtle. And I know what this means. It means you're walking along a road and there's a wooden post and there's a turtle perched on the top of it like that. And it's basically nobody knows how he got there. The turtle doesn't know how he's got there. And he doesn't know how to do anything about being there. But it's been someone else who's put him there. And that is what Humza Yousaf is. He's someone who's been put on top of that post and he doesn't know how to get out of it or what to do now that he's there. And there's nothing he can do. He just waggles his little feet around and looks around and hopes that somebody will put him out of his misery. And I think somebody needs to. And I think it'll be Kate Forbes. And I think it'll be Kate Forbes very, very soon. But is it going to be soon enough for Scotland? Roll on the next election. We'll see. I shall finish that and come up. He is undoubtedly weak. He is undoubtedly very vulnerable at the minute. I think it wouldn't take much for someone to challenge him. I think the first challenge may be a stalking horse. It'll be some backbencher will put a no confidence motion in. It won't be strong. It'll be there, but it'll be enough to start, that first grain of sand rolling. And that'll knock a few more, which will knock some pebbles, which will knock some rocks. And the next thing you know, the whole mountain will come down. And he will be out of a job. He will be out of politics. I don't think his ego will allow him to go back to the back benches. And he certainly wouldn't be some lackey in his, in the subsequent regime. He wouldn't do it. He'd have to leave politics and go back to the call centre where he started his career. That's what private education gets you, isn't it? And so, he is that vulnerable position. He has failed to impose authority. He has failed to unite the party. He is busy looking behind him rather than in front of him. The opposition, the opposition are over there, but the enemy are there. And that's the trouble he's got, because he knows that any one of them at any time could just basically push him under a bus and take his job. He must be so insecure in his position. Sturgeon never was. Don't like Sturgeon, don't like her personally, don't like her politics. But I have to admire her handling. She was, beneath it all, a leader, and that's something Humza Yousaf can never be. And I'll finish. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you've seen here on the channel, please do hit that subscribe button, ring a bell, leave a like, leave a share, keep doing that, don't I? Leave a comment, leave a share. And I said it again, leave a share. What is wrong with me? It's been a long day. And do please leave the like is where I'm going with that one. Good heavens, David. Can you also be aware that today is the coronation of the king, and I know that everybody will have a view on that. A lot of people will be, hooray, new king, coronation. A lot of people will be going, oh, well, we don't need bloody king, republican, blah, blah, blah. And I don't care about what you think. It's your business. I have no view on your opinions. That's what free speech is. But my opinion is I'm very much for it. I like the royal family. I served his mother. And so I wish it well. I hope the day goes well. I hope the weather holds as best it can. And for those who do celebrate along with me, we'll have a bloody good day. And for all you Republicans, go about your business, but at least be cheerful in your heart. Don't take it out on other people who are celebrating. You wouldn't want your happiness ruined by someone with an opposing view. So, enjoy the day. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, stay safe, stay well. Let's just count the days until Humza's gone, and goodbye.